That's right. Welcome back. Special edition of Virtual Math. It is Saturday, April 4th. That's right, Saturday. There are no days off when you're trying to get better. If you are watching this video, you're a lot like me. Because while your competition is sitting at home, playing Fortnite, eating potato chips, you're right here watching this math review, trying to get better. So if you're watching, I appreciate it. Look, you had 5 days to do these questions. Hopefully the climb peaked at a 5 on Friday. And if not, maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you got a 3 or a 4 yesterday and you need to figure out where you went wrong. Well, I'm your guy. I'm here to make you try to make things a little more clear for you. And if you still have questions after watching this, shoot me an email so I can get you taken care of. And we're actually going to dive right in with our special guest, a very special guest. So let's go ahead and cut to that. All right. We are here with a very special guest. This is our fearless leader, your principal, Mrs. Kirkland. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you for joining Virtual Math.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So this is like a pretty official talk show. We've got the mugs and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah,
there you go. Perfect.
I'm ready.
All right. So before I have you do some math, I've got a few questions for you. What has been, if you have, what's been your favorite part about being home so far?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't been home a lot.
Right.
I have had one full work at home day so far this week, but that's about to change. I guess the thing that I've enjoyed the most just in being home at different times during the day has been I can actually help my son with his work, but he's pretty self-sufficient, and
that's good.
It's just it's different, so it's trying to get used to different things.
Right. Okay. So this one might be hard to answer since you're not home much. I guess I'll just change it. What's been your least favorite thing about being out of school?
Oh, I miss the kids.
Yeah, it's tough.
Seeing them come in every day, and I've got that group of kids that I always get the hugs from. I miss those. It's just, we're in this business because of children, and when you're not around them, it's just kind of like summertime. We miss them.
Right.
And I miss the teachers too. It's just being out of the regular schedule that's hard.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling. All right, and my last question.
I hope we can get back pretty soon.
My last question for you would be, is there anything special that you're doing at home or at work to stay organized, or any tips you have for the students to try and stay organized?
One thing that I've really worked hard at is making a list. And I try to do that list in the same notebook of tasks that I need to get done. And then if the side of my ideas, so I have a notebook like this and tasks, and those things, that's just one way it helps me to remember, make a call or respond to an email, that sort of thing.
Yeah, almost every kid I have asked has said they make a checklist every single day, which is awesome.
That's great.
All right, Ms. Kirkland, now we're going to get down to what's important here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to read this question to you, and I want you to kind of walk me through it. You can tell me if there's any keywords you see, or if there's anything that kind of puts you down the right path for how you would solve it.
Okay.
So the question says, we're trying to raise $8,000 for a fundraiser. If we raised $2,424 during the first week and $1,492 the second week, how much more money do we need to raise? Now, before you say what you're going to say, I always tell my kids it's not my way or the highway. There's 50 different ways you could solve this question. So I'm just going to kind of let you guide me through this. And whatever you say, I'm going to write down on the whiteboard. Well, I guess I should give you those numbers to see. Hold on.
Okay. So,
Let's go back. We need to raise $8,000.
right.
We already raised 2,424 and then 1,492. So I've got those numbers written down if you need me to repeat them for you.
Okay. All right. So you kind of want me to go through what I would do to solve this?
Whatever you would do, talk me through it and I'll start working it on the whiteboard.
Okay, great. So the first thing that I would do is pay attention to the numbers here, because in this case, all of those figures are going to be important to find the answer. So for me, I know that I've got to come out to, at the end, $8,000 in total. And so I know that for the first week, we raised $2,424. And the second week, we raised $1,492. So I would add those two figures together and get a total.
Go ahead and stack these up. So you're going to add these together.
Right.
So that would give us a total of $3,916.
Right. So that's how much we've raised in total, but it's not as much as we want because we have a goal of 8,000. So I would then take 8,000 and write that down, and then under it, I would subtract $3,912. Was that? Yeah, that's right.
So, yep.
And then after we do that subtraction, that would tell me how much more we need to raise.
Perfect. So I always tell my kids when they're starting in the ones place, you got to ask if there's more on top or more on the floor. In this case, there's more on the floor, so we'd go next door and get 10 more. But we knock on that door, nobody's home. So we go to the end of the block, end of the neighborhood, and box off that whole number. So now we have 800 tens, but we still only need one.
Right.
So we would change that to 799. This would become 10, and then our subtraction gets a whole lot easier, and our answer would be $4,088. So that's actually, perfect. I think that's actually the same way I've been solving it in the videos. I know some kids will subtract twice, which is fine, because as long as you're doing the math, you're going to get the right answer.
Right.
So
well, great.
I thought you did an awesome job solving that question on the spot. You didn't even get to see it beforehand, so great job.
Thank you. And math is not my best subject, but I can do that math.
You crushed it. Mrs. Kirkland, thank you for joining us. You are the best.
Thank you, Mr. Huber. Guys, I hope you all are doing well. We miss you. Y'all take care. Mr. Huber, you're awesome.
You're awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Listen, when you got the boss lady on the show, you know it's a big deal. So, Mrs. Kirkland, awesome job. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to dive right in here to number 2. All right. Danielle is training for a marathon. She runs/walks 13 miles every day for 83 days. It says how many total miles will she run and walk during her training. So you see the word total, instantly I think of addition. Now I don't want to add the number 83 plus 83 plus 83 13 times. But guys, repeated addition is the same thing as multiplying. So I think it would make a lot more sense to stack these up and multiply 83 times 13. So we're going to start in the ones place as we do. 3 times 3 is 9. Then cutting across, 3 times 8 is 24. Once I have multiplied by the ones place, I can then move to the tens place. But first I have to add my placeholder. Put a 0 there, because if I'm multiplying by the tens place or in the tens place, my first product needs to go down in the tens place. So 1 times 3 gives me 3. 1 times 8 gives me 8. Once I get here, my last step would be to add those two numbers together. I've run out of space on my whiteboard, so I'm going to kind of shift it over here. In the ones place, 9 plus 0 is 9. In the tens place, 4 plus 3 is 7. And in the hundreds place, 8 plus 2 gives me 10. That gives me a total of 1,079, which is an answer choice of C. One thing I noticed when looking at the data for my class, if you look at B and C, they both look very similar. A lot of the times when I had a kid missing number 2, it's because they chose the answer that looked just like the correct answer. Now that could have mean they did great math, but they didn't look at their answer choices carefully, or they may have made a mistake and chose an answer that was close. So if you don't see your answer, do it again. But if you did the right math, don't miss the question because you didn't choose the right answer choice. And that's going to happen on the EOG. That's why we preach all year long, double check, look at your bubbles, make sure it matches what you circled. So that stuff is important, and I could see it on number 2 all week. All right, number 3, it says Harry Pitts, interesting name, is trying to organize his tool shed. He has 173 tools that he wants to split evenly between his shelves. If he can fit 4 tools per shelf, how many shelves will be completely full? Y'all, if that word's in all capital letters, there's like a 99.9% chance that it's super important. Anyways, when you saw those words split evenly, you should have instantly thought, hey, I have to subtract here. I'm putting this into equal groups. And if you look at your answer choices, they're all getting smaller. So I don't know why I'm trying to do this on a piece of paper. Let's get the whiteboard cracking. I would take 173 and I would divide it by 4. Equal groups of 4. Y'all know the drill by now. Dangerous monkey swipe bananas. Start with division. We know that 4 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 17 4 times. Because 4 times 4 gives me 16, and 17 minus 16 will leave me with 1. Then I will bring down my 3 since I haven't used it yet, and I get to start all over. Again, 4 goes into 13 3 times. Because 4 times 3 gives me 12, and 13 minus 12 gives me 1, and there's nothing to bring down, so I would have 43 remainder 1. Again, I've said it all week. You can guarantee yourself that you're going to get this question right if you check it. You know that you can't have 43 remainder 1 full shelves. That's just logically not something that makes sense. There's 3 possible answer choices. You could either have 43 full shelves if you ignore the remainder, 44 full shelves if you push up, or 1 full shelf if you use the remainder. Now, I've taught you a trick. I've always said if it's ever asking for full, that's going to be your guy right there. If it's talking about what's left, boom, it's always going to be what's right there. So really, this next step, if you listen to the past couple of videos, you wouldn't have had to do this part. But you could still check it. I'm either going to have 43, 44, or 1. Now, guys, if you have 173 tools and you have 1 full shelf with 4 tools on it, you can have way more full shelves than 1. So logically, we wouldn't even have to mess with 1. So I'm either going to have 43 full shelves or 44. Here's how I can prove that 44 is wrong. If I go 44 times 4, I get 176. Guys, you only have 173 tools. That's impossible. I can't have 44 full shelves. But if I did this math, that would be 172. So I could have 43 full shelves, and then I would just have another tool on an extra shelf. But it didn't ask how many shelves that I needed. It says how many completely full. So that's why your answer would be 43. Again, you could do great math there and miss the question because you didn't read. just like a reading test when it comes to math. So with the answer being 43, that would give us B. All right, moving on to number 4. Man, I noticed halfway through the week when I flipped these words, heads exploded. Guys, it doesn't matter if multiple comes first or factor comes first. You should know that vocabulary. You should know what those words mean. When we're talking multiples of 5, that means I can multiply by 5 and land on it. And honestly, you've been doing multiple of 5s longer than you realize. 5, 10, 15, 20. And you know they're going to end in 0 or 5. So ignore the factor part. Let's just look at multiples first. I can go ahead and eliminate one answer. 12 is not a multiple of 5. It cannot end in 2. It's got to end in 0 or 5. But 10, 25, and 35, those are all good. So then I would look at what's a factor of 120. Now, guys, 120 is a big number, but you've got to think outside the box here. Looking at answer choice A, do you know 10 times something to give you 120? Realistically, you should, but if you don't, multiples, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way up, eventually you're going to get to 100, 110, 120. So 10A is a multiple of 5, and it's a factor of 120, and you've got your answer right there. But if you gave EOG effort, you listed the multiples of C and D as well. Now C, again, shouldn't have been very difficult because you guys learned money in 2nd grade, right? 25 cents is a quarter. 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. We go past what we need to land on. Same thing for 35. If I did that math, I would go past 120. So you found your answer choice with the first one, or you found your answer with the first answer choice, but it doesn't hurt to check those other ones as well and eliminate if you can. But I noticed as soon as I put those words in a different order, people started, it's almost like they solved it the same way they've been solving it without reading the question. So again, another example if you have to read this question. Okay, number 5. Deep breaths, Mr. Huber, deep breaths. Now I can only speak for my class. If you're a 4th grader in another class, it could be completely different for your class. So I had 39 students doing this question. The first day we had 22 get it right, and I totally get that on a Monday, absolutely. On a Tuesday, it stayed at 22. Now, I'm pumping out these videos, so if you watch that video, you should know exactly how to solve it, right? Okay, but then the next day it went backwards. And you shouldn't be going backwards on a Wednesday. And this was one of those examples of where I really wished I could see how long they were spending on this question, and I could see the actual work they were doing. I'm going to show you again exactly what your paper should have looked like. Now, if your paper looks exactly like mine and you still missed the question, I can live with that. There's just a small mistake somewhere that we can fix. But if you're missing this question and not doing this work, it makes me want to show up at your door. All right, so let me pull my whiteboard up. First, I need to write these down. I'm looking for 3,893, 2,000s. I should have been prepared and done this ahead of time. While I'm writing these down, stand up and do some jumping jacks or something. Be active. Because I know for a fact you've probably been sitting around for the past week. Or I don't know, maybe not. All right, let me go ahead and do the first 2 answer choices. So I'm looking for 3,893. The first one says I have 2,000s. Boom. 80 hundreds. 2 zeros. Boom. 9 tens. 10 has 1 0. Boom. 3 ones. Boom. Then all you gotta do is add them together. 3, 9, 0, 10. A is way too big. There's too much. It can't be my answer. So let me try B. It says I have 2,000s. Boom, boom, boom. I have 8 hundreds. Boom, boom. 90 tens. Boom. 3 ones again. 3, 0, 17, 3. Now, hey, that one gets me pretty close. We don't want close. We want that thing right on the dot. So let's go back to our question. C says 3,719 tens, 3 ones. Let's add that together. 3,000s, 7 hundreds, 19 tens, and 3 ones. Boom, 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 boom. There is your answer. It would have been C. Now, just for me to save time, I still would have checked D just to make sure, because we make mistakes sometimes. But if we're looking for 3,893, that's the work I'm looking for. Guys, if it tells you you have something, write it down. All you got to do is add it. That's it. All right, so that was your first look. First week of virtual learning in the books. First week of Fam 5 done. I tell my kids all the time, Fantastic Five is my absolute favorite thing that we do in class every single day, because you get to see your hard work paying off. So whatever you ended at this week, your goal is to do that again or better, because you can't do better than a 5. But if you didn't get that goal of a 5, you got 4 days next week where you're going to have a chance to do that. These videos will continue to come out. And guys, as much as I like making these videos, there's no point in me making them if people aren't watching them. You don't have to watch the whole thing. If you miss number 3, fast forward to number 3. But the point of these is to help you, and we are here if you need help. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're going to be back next week. We're going to keep working hard. See you guys.